Recording in progress.
Good morning, friends. Shalom Aleichem. We're continuing in Mishna Berura Daf Hashavua. We're learning Siman Samach Dalid Sif Gimel. Ta'a bein parsha leparsha. You made a mistake between parshas. Shehu yoidea shesiyim parsha. You know you finished a parsha. Ve'eni adem rishonim shniya. You don't know if it was the first or the second. Chayzer leparsha rishona. You go back to the first parsha. V'yascha v'hayim shamaya. In other words, you made a mistake between one parsha and another. You know you finished one, and you're not sure, did I finish the first one or the second one? You know, it's actually not as uncommon as you think. It's actually pretty common. Especially, we'll see about getting confused between the first uchsavtam and the second uchsavtam. So, if you know you finished one, you don't know if you finished two, you go back to the first one and you start with V'hayim Shemaya. It says in Mishna Berura, V'eni Yadeo, Ma'rishin Ezecha Klaus Shum Teva Shum Parsha Shniya. You have no memory of saying not even one word of the second parsha. You also didn't start Vayomer. Talinon, we say if you got up to Vayomer, we say the reason you said Vayomer is probably because that's where you were up to. Once the word Vayomer came out of your mouth, we say you probably said the second parsha. Siv Daled. Siv Dal.
The sofek is even the first or the second. Because you started the third doesn't mean I was in the second. Could be I got confused in the first, so I got confused in the second.
In other words, it seems like the mouth has a certain chazaka that it would come to say Vayomer after saying L'man Yirbu Yimechem. In other words, L'man Yirbu Yimechem Yimei V'nechem Al Adam Hashem Asher Nishba Hashem Lavasem Kimei Hashamayim Al Aretz Vayomer. So if you said the word Vayomer, you probably said Al Aretz before that. That's the chazaka.
Even though you're not sure which ukshartam you said.
No, that's not really the case. The case is, you know you finished a parsha, you're not sure which one. So once you said the word Vayomer, then we say the reason you said Vayomer is because you probably just said Al Haaretz. Okay, Siv Dalet. Haya oimed be'uchsavtam ve'ini yodea im be'uchsavtam sheparsha rishona im be'uchsavtam sheparsha shniya. So chayzer le'uchsavtam sheparishona. You got to go back to the first one. V'hani mili shloi hischel leman yirbu yimechem. That's provided you didn't say leman yirbu. Avalam hischel leman yirbu yimechem ein tzarich lachzor desirchei naka v'asa. You probably just went about your regular business. So once you said the words Leman Yirbu Yimechem, once you said the words Leman Yirbu, then we say you're up to you already said the second parsha. So it's very interesting. If you say the words Uchsavtam al mezuzos beisacha uvi sharecha, and we're not sure which one you're up to, you go back to the first. But once you already said the word Leman Yirbu, so even though you'll ask, well, maybe the guy mistakenly said a Leman Yirbu after the first one. After all, there's no reason for him not to make that mistake. There's no difference in pronunciation. In other words, if a guy doesn't know, did he finish the first or did he finish the second, and he said Vayomer, so we could say, you would not have said Vayomer unless you said Kimei Hashemayim Al Haaretz. But just because you said Leman Yirbu, well, maybe you said it wrong, right? That's what Rabbi Yeager was asking before. But here it should be a good question. Let's see the Mishna Berura. Oimed ve'uchsavtem v'hadulay amar ukshartam mishum diyesh hefresh du ukshartam arishon hu bekamatz. Meaning, why don't we have a dilemma? The guy knows he said ukshartam, he doesn't know which one. The answer is there aren't two ukshartams. The first one is ukshar Tam, and the second one is Ukshartem. By the way, it's worthwhile to come to all the Mishna Berura Shiurim over the last years just to know that the first one is Ukshartam and the second one is Ukshartem. If you switch it up, I don't think you're Yotzei Kriya Shema, because it means something differently. I'm not sure. Ukshartam is you, Lashon Yachid, Ukshartem is Lashon Rabim. It means something else. I do not think you would be yotzei if you switch them up. So it's worthwhile to be aware that the first one is ukshar tam and the second one is ukshar tem. And that's why we don't have this dilemma. V'asheni hu besegel shulash the ukshar tam harishon bekama shulash and yachad v'asheni besegel shulash and rabin v'taz kasav oitam. The Taz writes another reason. She'ein derech litois be'emtsa'a. It is not typical to make a mistake in the middle. You're not making a mistake with the ukshar tams. Oh, I don't know where I'm up to. Come on, pal. Either you're 10 seconds into Shema or you're a minute 25. How do you not know already by ukshar tam? Uchsav tam, then that's at the end of a parsha. There's more time for you to be unsure where you're up to. Okay. It's a little bit longer. Not really, much longer. Shaper yuchalafam litois. You could make a mistake. The Shema Siyam HaParsha Shniya. Now I tell you, this has happened to me. This has happened to me, but not since I've been makbid to do it, from a siddur. If you say Shema from a siddur. Also, if you learn the Mishna Berura, and you know that before you start, you need to be mechavin, to be mekayim the mitzvah of Kriya Shema, and to be mekabel omachos shamayim, and to accept upon yourself to give up your life al kiddush Hashem, and you're mechavin for the aseres hadibros in the Kriya Shema. It's unlikely that you would ever come to this mistake. This mistake, although it is common, it is easily avoidable by being medakdik in the various dikdukim that there are. Okay. Im hischel. So this is talking about if you already started Laman Yirbu, Im hischel Rotzalamer, V'nestapik le'acher kach pen omar halaman Yirbu achos savdam shaparash rishayna. If you have this question, well, maybe I said Laman Yirbu after the first uchsavdam, afil hachi ein tzarach lach, so you don't have to go back. Demistama omar kafi hahergel. You probably said it based on your custom. Lemer Laman Yirbu acher uchsavdam shabashniya. Mikoshkein umatza asam tevas acheres be'emtza parsha. Certainly, if you find yourself in a different word in the middle of the parsha, chazaka sha'amar kama shel malamizah, there's a status, you said everything before, v'loidilik pasuk teva. In other words, if you're in the middle of Shema and you say, hey, did I miss a pasuk? Did I skip a word? You don't have to worry. Now, what if a person really has a suffix? I don't know, did I say the laman before, after the first one or the second one? So you're not mechuyev to go back. Is it better to go back? I guess it depends how real your suffix is. If you find that you have this suffix every day, then you should speak to someone, because that's not a healthy concern. But if, let's say it happened, and you really have a concern, would you be allowed to? Yeah, I guess so. It's just you're not required to. Fine.
It's not bringing in what is the rise of the Rabbanon.
Well, it's definitely Dairaisa, right? It's definitely, at first, what?
The second parsha?
It's a machlokes, but definitely, we would definitely be machmer out suffix Dairaisa. It might be a Dairaisa, but the point is you have a valid chazaka here. Chazaka will work even on a Dairaisa, right? It's a chazaka that would work even in this kind of, even for this, this important matter. Okay, ein tzarach lachzar. If you already started Laman Yirbu, you don't have to go back. Kol zeh k'shekar b'yachid. Avlam hu karyamat tzibur. If you're saying with the tzibur, v'roya shashel tzibur anu chsavtem sheparsha rishayna oisamachlai. Let's say like this. You said Laman Yirbu, but the shliach tzibur, he's up to the first parsha. So that would seem to indicate that you jumped the gun. Then, yachsul chsavtem sheparsha demucha milsa shata. It's clear you made a mistake. You did not go based on your normal language. Or maybe your normal language has become to do that, which is a big problem. Let's say you're up to uchsavtam, and you're not sure which one you're up to, so the Shulchan Aruch says you have to go back to the first one. The pasuk with Shulchan Aruch, the chaz uchsavtam arishayin, im raya shal shel tzibur If you see that the shliach tzibur and the tzibur is up to the second one, or around that area, then you'd be allowed to jump the gun. In other words, the halacha is if you're up to uchsaftim, you don't know which one, then you have to be machmer and go back to the first one. But if you see the tzibur is up to the second one, you could assume that you're up to the second one as well. For raglayim ledavar iko, it's raglayim ledavar. Now here it's interesting. Very nice raglayim ledavar. We're dealing with the dairaisa. Could you follow a raglayim ledavar even on dairaisa? Yeah, it seems like it's indicative enough. V'dinim shina be'eza bracha mikafi mashatav lechachamim. The din of a person deviated in a bracha based on the way the chachamim were coined the bracha. That will be explained further on. Mishna Berura ayin sham. Okay. Now, what about a guy who usually when the tzibur is up to the second bracha, the second parsha, he's still lagging behind? So now could he apply this Mishna Berura? Well, I'm not sure which one I'm up to, but the tzibur is up to the second one. No, you can't do that. The Nemukei Arachayim says no, you can't do that. I mean, that's in other words, the raglayim ledavar is only if you're a guy who usually keeps up with the tzibur. You don't keep up with the tzibur. There's no raglayim ledavar. Yeah, we'll hold it over here. We might utilize this week to start getting ahead, because later on in February there might be some. I might miss some time. Okay, have a good day, everyone. Bracha v'atzlacha.
But is there no suffix there, right?
Sorry. On what?